Man-made stuff sucks. Man-made stuff sucks. I just want to start by saying it. Just putting it out there. Man sucks. They tried very hard. Like, look, it's not lack of trying. But just think about this. Just that all the things man has ever created. Terrible. Horrific. Horrid. Basically poison. Terrible. Like, as an example, do you know of Labubu dolls? Labubu dolls? I didn't know much about Labubu dolls. I still don't know. I don't think I could recognize one in the wild, to be honest with you. If someone like waved it in front of me and was like, "Do you know what this is?" I'd be like, "I don't know." But I know they exist, right? Here in Australia, we live in a parallel universe, right? Australia is like, it's like the rest of the world, but it's not, okay? And we have Juju dolls. You got Labubu, we got Lajuju. This would not have been possible prior to the whole Palestine thing. But apparently we have Juju dolls here. That's the thing. I wouldn't be able to recognize one of those either. But supposedly very popular, hip with it. Witness, young ones, how hip with it I am. You are very impressed now. Very impressed. But as we all know, these things are horrific and they're destroying humanity, consumerism, etc. Whatever. Bureaucracy, red tape all over your face hole. You can't breathe. Death. Terrible. Man-made stuff is the poison of the world, which is why we need to return to nature. That's what I've been hearing, is we need to return to nature and the natural things. Apparently in the US, they've got the Goo Goo dolls. So, there's a lot of dolls around. There's actually, the Labubus for the Gen Z in the rest of the world, the Jujus for the Gen Z in Australia, and the Goo Goo dolls for the millennials that just can't let go. There's many things going on. Anyway, nature though. We're wanting to return to nature because nature is perfection. You've heard that before, I'm sure. Nature doesn't get it wrong. Well, are we sure? We're sure nature doesn't get it wrong? Like, that's really what I want to address today. Are we sure? Because, you've heard it. You've heard it before, right? That nature doesn't get it wrong. But, well, Kurzgesagt. Pretzel is a YouTube channel that is very, very popular on YouTube. I actually really love this channel, but I cannot pronounce their name. And they usually put out these amazing videos. They're actually incredible. They've got really cool animations and they got this like very serious voice on top that like tells you about important things. Their videos are always about important things that are important, like the planet, health stuff, and don't drink too much alcohol, you'll die in a hole, or whatever it is, with lots of like detail and research and pretty pictures, and it's so nice. I don't remember any of it, but I'm sure I learned a lot. Anyway, they make posters, and but they released a video on a fish. Yeah, that's the end of that. They released a video on a fish. It's called the Sunfish, or the molar, and the video is just called The Dumbest Animal Alive. The dumbest animal alive. They made a poster for the video. It just says dumb on it with a picture of this fish, right? If nature never gets it wrong, why does this fish exist? This fish is ridiculous. It's basically like it's an animated shocked Pikachu face. It's a flat, round fish. It's just like a jelly flubber disc, and it floats on the sea. It literally goes there and just like rests atop of the water, and things peck at it because it's covered in parasites. Its parasites have parasites. It's a jelly flubber disc, shocked Pikachu face, water plate, and things just come and peck at it. And sometimes other sea animals take a bite out of it, and they don't tend to enjoy it because it can't even taste good. Like, it can't even do that right. So you just got like these discs with little bites out of them floating atop the water. Apparently they have, a brain the size of a walnut, and it thinks like 3 thoughts in the entire course of its existence. It sounds like your spirit animal. It's quite a creature. But then, I thought a little bit closer to home. I thought a little bit closer to home. If nature never gets it wrong, then what about New Zealand? Like, don't get me wrong, if you're a Kiwi, if you're a New Zealander, I'm not saying you're wrong, though I could be. I actually really like New Zealand. I've been to New Zealand a few times. Every time I've gone to New Zealand, there's been a few things that have always been the case. One, it's so green and bright. It's like the opposite of Australia. Here in Australia, our national plant is dead grass. And I swear, every time I go to New Zealand, I'm like, them's cows are living a life of luxury because their grass is so green. It's like, it burns. The Australians, you have to take like many layers of sunglasses. Just protect yourself from the color. But there's always a lot of greenery. The people are like the coolest people ever. I love New Zealanders. They are genuinely like really cool people. And then the last thing is every time I go, I get sick. And every time I go, there's so many sick people everywhere. Someone from New Zealand has to just like, let me know why this is the case. Every time I've been there and I'm walking down the street, you just hear, people are coughing. You sit in a cafe in the corner, someone's like dying of emphysema or something. It's just, there's a lot of sickness there. Every time I go, I come back sick. I don't know. And you'd think, you know, with the whole, if you're around trees, you know, the science, right? The science is if you're around trees, then your natural killer cells, your immunity increases. So you'd think you're in New Zealand, the place is so green, like, you know, you think you're like immortal or something, but no, every time get sick. So anyway, if anyone from New Zealand can enlighten me, I'd love to know. But the thing I wanted to get at was nature. So the emblem of New Zealand is an animal called emphysema, famously not contagious. True. But, you know, it could be a contagious disease. They sound quite similar. Both result in death. This is a medical channel, clearly. Anyway. So, New Zealand, their logo features an animal. Does anyone know what that animal is? It's an animal called a kiwi. You often call New Zealanders Kiwis. Even some of their famous sports teams are the Kiwis, right? And, yeah, Kiwi. I don't know whether they really thought this one through. So does anyone here know an awful lot about the Kiwi? Because my beautiful little toddler received a present from a family member that recently travelled to New Zealand, and it was a little plush toy Kiwi. And she's here with this kiwi. And Grandma was like, what is this thing? And we're like, it's a kiwi. And she's like, what's that? And we're like, actually, we don't know. So we looked it up. Kiwis. There's these little flightless birds. They have wings. They don't work. So that's always a good start. And their feathers are a little bit like hair. Apparently some of them have almost developed into whiskers, but they are an animal with tiny little pinprick eyes that apparently barely function, and they're also nocturnal, so I'm sure that helps. Great vision, these things, and by that I mean they can barely see. They can't fly, they can barely see. They have basically no defense mechanisms whatsoever. They're basically like a sentient snack for any animal that's feeling a little nippy, right? And they're running around, they can't see properly. They apparently have really amazing senses when it comes to specifically smell. And this is where it gets especially funny, because if you haven't seen a kiwi before, you need to check a picture of one of these. They have this really long beak. And usually birds that have a really long beak, their nostrils are, at the top. And then the beak just continues on so they can do things like digging. With the kiwi, nah. The kiwi has this really long beak, and the nostrils are at the end of the beak. I don't know how this deformed creature came to be, but they're digging in the mud, and it's like they can't breathe because their nostrils are now under the mud. So apparently The best way to know that you've got a kiwi around is that, this sleep apnea creature is in the middle of the night snorting its way through like the dark. It can't see. All it can do is smell. Worst superpower, by the way. Sense of smell. Ideal sense of smell. Worst superpower in the world. But like, you got this creature. It's like snortling through the night. It's a sleep apnea lump. And that's how it makes its way. Who would have thunk it? They're going extinct. Who would have thunk it? With all of these things they've got going for them. I don't know, but they're actually really, really cute little creatures. It's just nature never gets it wrong, huh? One of my favorite parts when we looked up this creature, we watched a documentary on the kiwi, and we found out that it didn't develop, breast tissue the same way that a lot of other birds do, so it doesn't have like a proud chest of muscle. So what happens is if a dog picks it up or something, it dies. It just dies. So like you have to be quite careful with the kiwi. Anyway, the real question is can they play water polo? That truly is the real question. I can't answer that one. I'm not a biologist, seriously. But now, okay, look, we're trying to answer the question. Is nature perfection or not? We've looked at the sunfish. We've looked at the kiwi. But there is one animal which is more hopeless than them all. The most hopeless animal on the face of the planet that really makes you question, could nature really not get it wrong? And do you know what that animal is? Do you know what that animal is? Not the blobfish. I mean, we've covered the shock Pikachu fish, the sunfish, the panda. There we are. Tony's got it. The human. Check out the human. With great difficulty, immense difficulty, the human male works up the courage to eventually ask the female if they're willing to share a milkshake with them. To which the answer's like, why are you talking to me? They have to do this multiple times. They may have to figure out at some point that it's important to wear deodorant. Eventually, they can mate and they can create a creature, their child, their spawn, their progeny, which can grow so slowly and only if it is very, very carefully looked after. Because if you leave it alone for like half a day, it dies. So, you need to really look after it. After some time, all the tutoring in the world, it becomes the most high achieving of the humans. It gets the best grades. It's, sports captain, team captain. It's going to the Olympics. It's doing amazing stuff. You got this child that's growing up into a teenager. Yeah, and then it got into a really great university. It's studying some really good course with lots of accreditation. They're getting letters beside their name. They're still doing well. They've switched from doing whatever sport they were doing to like CrossFit or whatever it is adults do. They're still so good, high achiever. 40 years old now. They've got the family of their own. They've got their 2.5 children, 3.5 dogs, whatever the shit it is. They got their house. They're really doing well. All it takes to just completely break this 40-year-old that has worked their whole life to achieve everything perfectly. The only thing you need, one single thing you need, is to get this middle manager at some insurance company to be ranked less than excellent by his co-workers in the office survey. And the whole thing falls apart. It just falls apart. He comes home, I'm like, oh my God, I got ranked satisfactory. Oh, I'm questioning everything. I got distinctions all throughout my commerce degree. And now I don't know. Which person wrote that for me? Which one of them said that I don't have peak leadership skills? Nothing I've achieved in life matters. That's all it takes. After 40 years of work and effort, that person is mentally broken now. They're going to be in therapy for the rest of their lives. They've started some weird hobby. They're attempting to cheat on their wife, not working so well. No one likes them. They forgot about the deodorant thing. Whatever it is, their whole life's fallen apart now. It's gone. It's gone. The human, after all that effort. But like, you know, biology's wild. If you think about the mind-body connection, it really takes so little to just completely collapse a human, implode them. Like, think about this. They're eating the most perfect diet on the face of the planet. They're having the Mediterranean, vegan, whatever the shit diet with like legumes. They're eating that. They're exercising. They're doing the exercise. They're doing the resistance training. They do the cardio. They stretch. They do the exercise. They're getting exactly 8 hours of sleep. They're doing all the things. They are the picture of health. So, you know, at some point they take the blood from them, they check them, they're like perfect biomarkers. You are the perfect specimen of a perfect person. And they're there with their perfect heart rate, the resting heart rate of like 55, whatever it is, 55 farts per second. And they're there with perfect biometrics. Everything is perfect. And all you need is for them to see Patrick, my husband, and it all falls apart. The heart starts racing. They start going, what do I do? How do I impress him? Oh my God. What do you mean I can't have him? What do you mean he's taken? Oh my God, I can't deal with this. The grief, you know, it all falls apart. They have perfect health. Everything is perfect about them. They're in a state of calm, zen. They're lying in bed, ready to sleep at night. And then they're like, I'm gonna die one day. And suddenly their mind is racing and they can't sleep and they're flopping side to side and they're like, oh my God, death is incoming. Everything's gonna go all numb. I'm not gonna feel anything. What's gonna happen to my mind? And they're gone. I mean, sometimes all it takes is overthinking your terrible choice of career. Why insurance? Honestly, I actually want to know the answer to that though. Why do people get into insurance as a career? Off topic, but still, all it takes. So you don't even need someone to trigger you. The human, you know, they eat. They have to coddle them. They have to live in a house. They have to, like, you know, go through stages to learn like basic skills so that they can survive, fit into a society. And all it takes to completely implode them and break them apart from within, nothing but a remnant of a human walking hellfire, is for them to have a thought that develops into another thought, that develops into a hurricane, and it just starts from seeing Patrick. Or I don't know. Perhaps it starts from Labubus. Perhaps this all comes back to Labubus in the end. Perhaps it all comes back to going back to the store and realizing that your collection is not complete, and therefore you must eradicate all your competition in the queue at Kmart to get your Labubu. I don't even know if Kmart sells Labubus. But anyway, there we are.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and notification bell, because clicking things is fun. If you want to see the full versions of these Twitch streams, then you can on my channel, twitch.tv/MaryAmber. And if you want to catch VODs, if you've missed streams, then check out my Patreon, Ninja Club, patreon.com/MaryAmber.